Hello everyone and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a closer look at the Triggertech Diamond triggers. We'll take some time to look closely at the triggers to see a few things that you may not notice when looking at them in the packaging, although we will be spending the bulk of our time in the field looking at the results of shooting both with and without the Triggertech Diamond triggers to get a better feel for their effectiveness. One of the main things I would like to point out is the location of the trigger adjustment screw. Due to its location, it is not necessary to take the rifle apart each time you want to adjust the trigger pull. Simply insert the Allen wrench that comes with the trigger and listen for the audible clicks to know that you are making progress in either increasing or decreasing the weight of the pull. I'll be quiet and let you listen. I've been spending some time shooting a pair of Bergara B14 HMR rifles, one chambered in .308 and one in 6.5 Creedmoor. They have the identical muzzle brake and are both outfitted with the identical scope, although the footage shown here is just prior to the muzzle brake installation on each rifle. Prior to this video, they were both using the factory trigger. It seemed to me that the accuracy of the .308 was not keeping up with the Creedmoor at 100 yards, although it would tend to even out at further distances. Rather than showing you countless pictures of groups from the 6.5 Creedmoor and the .308, I was able to find this one single picture that really epitomizes my shooting experience thus far when shooting at 100 yards with the factory trigger on each rifle. The .308 impacts always seem to be competitive with the Creedmoor, but we're usually on the outside looking in as the Creedmoor seems to have had an inside track on accuracy. I decided to install the Triggertech on the .308 first and shoot it next to the 6.5 Creedmoor that would still be utilizing the factory trigger, at least for one more trip to the range anyway. Prior to shooting, both rifles had been cleaned the night before, so I decided to give them 2 Fowler shots each at 50 yards before testing with match ammo at 100. They would each use the Federal American Eagle for the 50-yard shots. The .308 would use the 150 grain full metal jacket, and the Creedmoor would use the 120 grain open tip match. Okay, I'm shooting American Eagle by Federal in both cases. The .308, we've got the 150 grain bullet. First shot of the day was here, then here. On the Creedmoor, that's the 120 grain bullet, here, then here, at 50 yards. As you can tell, we're shooting in windy conditions, but it shouldn't be too much of a factor at these distances. Next, I moved out to 100 yards and shot the Federal Gold Medal match using the Sierra Match King bullet. The .308 used the 168 grain, and the 6.5 Creedmoor had a bullet weight of 140 grains. Okay, I'm out here at 100 yards. The shots that you see in the middle are from the 168 grain Gold Medal match .308. First shot of the day was here, then perfect bullseye. Over here was Creedmoor, 6.5 Creedmoor, 140 grain Gold Medal match. Sierra Match King bullet in both of these offerings, by the way. First shot of the day was here, then here, and then here. It's pretty much too close to call in terms of accuracy. I'll go home and measure this for sure. But if I had to guess, I would say that the .308 is just slightly more accurate, just a little bit better group than what that Creedmoor is. Triggertech Diamond trigger, regular factory trigger. After the installation of the Triggertech on the 6.5 Creedmoor, I would head back to the range and would again use the Federal American Eagle for the first 2 shots of the day. Only this time the first 2 shots would be at 100 yards rather than 50. Alright, well I'm out here at 100 yards. These are my first 2 shots ever with the 6.5 Creedmoor when I'm using the Triggertech Diamond trigger. I'm shooting the 120 grain open tip match from Federal American Eagle. Shot number 1, shot number 2. Also, those are the first 2 shots of the day, just kind of warming the gun up a little bit. And once again, here were the first 2 shots at 50 yards the day before. And again, almost the identical result at 100 yards after the Triggertech upgrade. I won't be able to show any more groups in this video because it may act as a spoiler for the upcoming video. But let me ask you this. What if accuracy wasn't just determined by 3-shot or 5-shot groups? What if you had just one opportunity to take 1 shot and poor shot placement was not an option? What trigger would you run? I've been told repeatedly that you can bet the farm on Triggertech. Before this day at the range would end, I would find out if I had been told the truth or had been grossly misinformed. That footage is being edited now, and that video will be posted in a few days. For those watching in the future, that video may have already been posted. Please check the comments below for a link to that video.